Guys, thanks so much for joining us today. This is our third leadership session, and we're really excited about today to hear from some of our guest speakers. As you know, we have really some exciting people joining us. The big focus today is going to be about community outreach and community service and how to give back, whether that's in your own community or another community in need. And we've got Sasha Minsky. He is a Gold 2 athlete at our Tyson site, and he has been working on a service project to help underprivileged youth in South Africa. So really excited about that. His service project is now in phase 1. So you guys are going to kind of hear about that today, and there's going to be some follow-up information sent out as well. And then last but not least, we are so excited to have Katie Ledecky on the call today. She swam for NCAP, as you guys know, and we're just so happy that she was able to join the call.
She's got hi, I'm Sasha Minsky. I'm a freshman at the Potomac School in McLean, Virginia, and I swim for NCAP in Tysons. I'd like to give a shout out to the great group of NCAP coaches I've had over the years, Kara, Jay, Marilyn, Kelly Rose, and Jeremy. And I appreciate the opportunity NCAP has provided to present my project, which started as a middle school service learning requirement that has developed into a full-fledged passion I plan to continue building on throughout high school. My goal was to take on something that can improve the lives of less fortunate children. And it was important to start something that I could see through to completion. I happened to be reading Trevor Noah's book at the time called Born a Crime, and I was struck by the hardship he felt living in the South African townships. I was already familiar with the South African culture since my parents lived there just before I was born. So I decided to focus my efforts on the impoverished township of Alexandria, where 650,000 people live in crowded huts within a 2.5 square mile area of Johannesburg. As a competitive athlete, I thought that sports could serve to uplift the less fortunate kids of Alexandria by giving them something better to do with their time rather than loiter on the street or worse, get in trouble. In 2019, I partnered with the Alexandria Baseball Club, organized multiple donation drives, collected a wide range of pre-loved baseball equipment, packed them in duffel bags, and transported them via South African Airlines. It all came together last December when the equipment was presented to a clubhouse full of excited kids. This year, I want to build on our success with the baseball project and expand our reach to help even more boys and girls. I'm lucky to have been introduced to Linda Twala, recognized as the father of Alexandra, who's dedicated his life to training Alex's youth and taking care of Alex's elderly. Now, at the age of 76, Baba Twala, as he's referred to, shared with me that one of his main goals is to teach Alex's kids to swim. This is not only for fun, he told me, but for survival, since fatal drowning is the second leading cause of accidental death in South Africa. So we've partnered together to establish the Alexandria Youth Swim Academy. They'll take shape in the following 3 phases. First, we'd like to outfit the academy and its Sea Lion swim team with donations of swim equipment. Second, we're planning to provide know-how in the form of learn to swim instruction, as well as hands-on involvement to train the trainers. And third, we hope to renovate on an existing pool in Alexandria, or depending on our success of fundraising efforts, build a new one. Since we're at the beginning of this process, one of my first steps we took was to create the brand image for both the academy and its swim team. We used the vibrant colors of the South African flag to signify waves in the academy's logo. And we thought that the sea lion was a clever choice to represent a South African-based swim team. Today's presentation marks the official start of phase 1 of my project. With NCAPs and sport fairs kind assistance support, I'm launching our web store to seek small dollar donations to purchase swim equipment. My site is www.upliftthroughsport.com. And here's the equipment we're hoping to purchase: suits, caps, goggles, fins, kickboards, water bottles, mesh bags, and spirit wear. I hope you'll consider making a purchase to help the boys and girls of Alexandria, South Africa. Thank you.
I'm so impressed with this project. I've been working with Sasha to see what NCAP can do. We are going to be following up with all of our families next week with more information about this, including that link that Sasha shared for donations. NCAP is going to be making a donation of $5,000 towards the equipment, and we're really happy to be able to work with Sasha on this project and help the township of Alexandra. So just so impressed with how far he's been able to take this project, and there's a lot more still to come. Again, feel free to type your questions in the chat if you have any for Sasha. I have one though. Sasha, why South Africa? What made you gravitate towards helping the youth in this specific area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So one of the first, well, what I said previously, that my parents actually lived in Africa and lived in Johannesburg before I was born, and introduced me to the African culture. And they saw firsthand the poverty in Africa and how we could really help them. And second, I grew up reading books about Nelson Mandela. And in fact, I'm named after him. My middle name is Madiba, which was Mandela's tribal name. And like I said before, Trevor's Noah book really piqued my interest in what it was like to live in such poor conditions and how I could help.
And so when you started the baseball project, I mean, clearly you wanted to help this township. What was your biggest obstacle when you were setting all of that up?
Yeah, so once you find a need and find like a purpose and a project you want to start, you try to build connections. And that's where we met I read the story about the Iwope brothers, whose mother was a maid for the clubhouse outside a baseball field in Alexandria, and she worked there. They also lived there at the clubhouse, and it turns out the older boy, Gift, became the first Black African to play Major League Baseball in the United States. His younger brother, Victor, followed the same path and made it to the minor leagues, which I met him in West Virginia, and it really struck me, Rex to Rich's story, and we really built this connection through stories, and it was great to build these connections that help further this project. As an international project is tougher when, of course, we're inside the States and we have to communicate with a separate country. So it's all about building connections.
Yeah. A lot of people have said they want to donate. So that's great, guys. Thank you so much for saying that. Again, I'll send out that information next week so you and your parents can kind of look into that and see if you're able to make a donation. Okay. Thank you, Sasha. That was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that and are inspired by his efforts. You know, that's a project that's definitely on a larger scale. But we wanted you guys to see, you know, starting really small, just simple things, all the way to having a passion like Sasha does, and specifically wanting to help that community in need. So I am going to move on to Katie and do a little intro. Not that you guys don't know Katie, obviously you do. Funny enough, Katie actually started swimming with NCAP at our AU swim school, which is something that I love to tell parents, and they get really excited about it. She has a huge poster at AU right next to our Learn to Swim program, and the kids get so excited seeing that when they come to their lessons. She swam competitively with NCAP from 2003 to 2016. She swam with Bruce. There's a picture at the bottom there if you guys recognize Coach Bruce. She competed in the 2012 and 2016 Olympics, and she has 6 Olympic medals. She swam for Stanford from 2016 to 2018 and turned pro in March of 2018. She just recently graduated with her bachelor's in psychology, and we are so excited to have you on, Katie. Thank you for joining us. I am going to pass it over to you to kind of talk about starting off with Shepherd's Table and kind of your experience with some of these organizations.
Yeah, thanks, Spencer. And I just want to say I'm so impressed by Charlie and Alexander and Coach Mary and Sasha. I'm just blown away. Sasha, you're doing something on an international scale, and that's so impressive at your age. I've had some opportunities to travel the world and be able to give back around the world. And when you have those kinds of opportunities, you really see how many people are in need around the world. And to be able to do something like that at your age, it's really incredible.